and welcome to the Raw Review. We are the Dudley Boys of What Culture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week, complete with a video quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review last night's Raw. Sorry, excuse me. Looks like I've come down with a full-blown case of WrestleMania fever.
Yeah. Let me tell you, that is something.
Yeah.
Not a great show, but a good one for those reasons. I thought this was a good hype show. They've taken a card that I wasn't super enthusiastic about. No real changes since we recorded the WWE's Ruining the Road to WrestleMania video, which you can still watch on our YouTube channel.
Still relevant, always relevant.
Still relevant, but they are polishing up the turd ski in a way that I found most effective in the last sort of 2 or 3 shows. I'm just well up for the card off the back of just a few, maybe it was one of them things where when it all felt directionless and then they actually make something of, it's official, and then actually have the thing to point towards. It seems to have brought the focus back in a little bit. So certainly SmackDown on Friday in this Raw. Feeling better about the WrestleMania card, starting to get excited about the stuff. Have come to accept and the compromises. That's the reality, is that I can't.
You've lowered your standards.
Yeah, I've sort of thought,
that's the reality here.
The match exists now, so I'm going to have to just make do with it. But then they're at least making that element of it fun. I would have done something different. I would have booked a different match. I would have used the wrestlers differently. But this is the card we've got, and they are now at least getting me in the mood for this card, which I wouldn't have said they could have done sort of 2-3 weeks ago. So a big step up.
No step up. But just, you can't build nothing on a foundation of and we are where we are at that main event. Oh my God.
It was brilliant, man.
Oh, I loved it, yeah.
Let's just get to the show beat by beat so I can have my dinner.
Okay. I want to mention, they always do this, obviously. At the start of the show, everyone's arriving. There's Gunther, there's the New Day, there's the War Raiders, there's...
Fast forward.
What are you doing, Sidge, for sake, mate?
Making good use of my time.
No, man.
I'm with Hamflett on this one.
God
because
damn it, the massive stars. That's the business.
Yeah, but I've seen them already.
Watch the matches on 1.5. You've seen all the moves before as well.
Can you do that on net? You can, on the telly?
Aye.
My brain don't work like that.
on the telly, the Google Chrome extension thing on the lappy.
It's too much work. It's easier to just press one button a few times.
There's headlocks on every show. You never know what you're going to see when they're walking in the building. Christ.
I mention this because they do all the arrivals, Paul Heyman, Judgment Day, etc. And it's just walking into the building. Not Penta. He's like, whoa, I'm walking past some flat cases.
Yeah, setting, the tone,
I understand what you mean, but it's every single week and I get it. WWE fed big, fast forward.
I'm like, who's going to show up next? Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're in the street clothes.
It's not really going to be wrestling.
I understand what they are doing. It has absolutely no impact on my enjoyment of the show.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, they're just walking around.
Just walking around.
I understand they are big stars. We've said this before. The big stars are descending on the big city. It's all glamorous. It's all big, and they're here, and what they're going to do. I get it, but I watch and go, yeah.
Did you...
I know it's big already, so is it good? That's the answer. That's the question, and here's the answer. Not really.
Did you indulge in... all the pre-cup final day stuff?
Yeah, but
do you see players arriving at Wembley on the bus, or when they're walking on the pitch in their cup final suits and all that? I'm asking genuine credit. Did you watch that?
You know what? No.
But
only because I'm I'm not a good sports fan. I'm too neurotic. I'm too anxious. I instead just until kickoff, the lad played PlayStation games.
Almost to forget it was happening.
Just to forget it was happening.
Yeah,
all right, we'll have to do this. We have to do this. But no, if it was a neutral, a huge event, I watch all the pre-analysis and all the rest of it.
The white Liverpool suits of the 95 final and all that kind of
with
stuff.
England World Cup finals, I obviously do that. Euros finals, as the case may be.
Yeah.
I watch all that. But then, this is a totally different topic. I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's why I like that.
Big occasion, yes, I will watch it all. If there's a big pay-per-view, I'll read what are people's predictions, prediction articles, and all the rest of it. But it's just a totally separate thing. But I thought I'd raised the point. I'm sick of every single pundit build-up of a big England match dwelling on, oh, we've been rubbish, could this finally be the time? I understand that's a narrative, but could not just have like an in-depth tactical analysis of how we've reached this point as opposed to the, is it coming home yet, lads?
Yeah.
So I actually tend to forego it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I don't understand this is bad because it's all in the promotion, but you can promote your event and have me invest in it by booking good storylines with likable or detestable characters, and they have not done that this WrestleMania season.
Disagree. We get a recap of last week's Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair special guest referee.
Skip. Skipping this?
It depends on the quality of the video.
I like the vignette sort of recap things.
Yeah,
and the Cody thing later was
help you
class.
understand.
The Cody one ruled.
Yeah.
Love that. Video packages. Do you know why I love video packages so much to this day? Why I love video packages? Because then you're watching the recognised symbol of excellence sports entertainment, but also because, like, when we were kids, not having Sky, you must remember this, Sidge. Whenever you'd like had your Coliseum video or something taped, and they did like a little bit of a flashback thing, oh my God, it's extra stuff from the TV. I haven't seen that. So, it's only been a still image in the magazine or whatever, and now I'm actually getting to see the segment.
Or watching when I used to watch Sunday Night Heat on Channel 4, and they'd be like, here's what happened on the big shows.
Yeah, the stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but you can't move for it now, so there's no need. You can skip it now.
I want to move.
Yeah.
It's like a lift that you like being stuck in.
Fast forward to this.
General Manager Postman Pearce is in the ring, and he brings out Io Sky, Rhea, and Bianca, of course, and takes responsibility for what happened last week, saying he was wrong to think any of them could handle things like professionals. But he's here to right the wrong, and he confirms that the WWE Women's Championship match is going to be a triple threat between Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley.
There was an air of quiet Lewis, men are talking here, where the bloke with a rational head on his bloody shoulders, not like these hysterical, yakking women, is getting the job done. He's been henpecked into making a world title match at WrestleMania. It's appalling.
I'm just glad Adam Pearce has sorted all this out, because I was hoping for the triple threat, and thankfully, cooler heads have prevailed.
I resent you.
Even without the very salient point of the complete the problematic gender politics on display here. This was also bad because
that's all bad.
We talked about you don't see much of it anymore, and it's almost shocking to see it happening again. The general manager bollocking idiot wrestlers. It's actually gone away. So I hate that too. I hate that. You couldn't escape the quit your yakking. Let me do the business end of the business. But then also because you've all been so bloody stupid and immature. I hate all of that. What are we doing? Going back to this idea that wrestlers are stupid little kids that need corralling and
and they messed this up so bad that Bianca Belair got booed. What are you booing her for? She's making a salient point.
She is, but we'll get to it when you go through the analysis.
Yeah, she said she'd normally be annoyed, obviously, that Rhea Ripley's just walked in, done whatever she wanted, and gets a WrestleMania title match. But she's not mad because she's not scared of Rhea. She's going to walk out of WrestleMania as the new WWE Women's Champion and go through Rhea Ripley to get it. Rhea tries to fire back, but Bianca just tells her to shut up and chucks the contract at her, telling her to sign it. She does and throws it back at Belair. Again, Io Sky tries to get between the two of them. Again, she gets sort of pie-faced away. And so Io Sky seemingly walks off as Bianca and Rhea get in each other's faces, and then hits an awesome missile dropkick into Ripley, which sends her into Belair, knocks them both down. She signs the contract, says thank you to Adam Pearce, and walks out to her music as the other two are left laying.
I wanted, after the first segment with the three of them that I thought was actually pretty strong. It seems a million years ago now.
Yeah.
Like the first verbal exchange all three of them had after the surprising title change with Io and Rhea to put over how effective, in particular, I thought the Bianca Belair element of this story was. If you remember, it was 2 weeks after Elimination Chamber. She should have been in celebratory mood, but the SmackDown before that was where Naomi had revealed that she was the attacker. Bianca was effectively in a perpetual state of mourning. She was dressed all in black, and it was like she was as much kind of like concerned with this complete breakdown of her friends on SmackDown as she was this title program on Raw. And it felt like they were spinning both those plates. It was like she's going into WrestleMania, she's EST, she's qualified, she's won that match in spite of having to watch the violence play out in the Elimination Chamber. And I thought that they'd done such a great job ultimately of weaving those two like quite disparate things together to make her WrestleMania this, unique experience of could have it all, could lose it all.
Yeah.
Like really high stakes for her. It got muddled in this terrible like European tour they all went on with the guest referee, with the Rhea Ripley complaining, with the constant like pie facing of Io Sky to make the point that those two almost don't see her as a valuable addition to this match, let alone the fact that she's the champion. That Bianca bit got lost, and I like that they brought it back this week because I think it's by far the most interesting element. Well, I think they are sewing in a potential Bianca Belair heel turn and a long play with it as well. It doesn't necessarily end at WrestleMania or climax at WrestleMania. It becomes part of, she could lose a streak potentially at WrestleMania.
Of course, yeah.
She could win, but then that win will be tainted by having to share the card with her two friends trying to kill each other ultimately. So even if she does continue the streak, it'll be, well, I'm the champion, but at what cost? Because the big three are dead.
What cost?
So I think that's by far the most interesting thing, and I'm glad they're revisiting it because it's one of the few things that add credibility to an otherwise terrible build.
This is genuinely verging on catastrophic. You have a triple threat program involving Io Sky, babyface, Rhea Ripley, babyface, Bianca Belair, babyface, and you, through the terrible storyline, you have told you are in danger of turning two of them heel. Rhea Ripley has been scripted to perform as a child having a temper tantrum because she lost a wrestling match, right? It's all contrived to create something bad. You can't build nothing good on a foundation of and so Rhea Ripley, Io Sky comes off the best in all these segments because she is almost the surrogate for the audience who is sick of hearing the babbling, the immature behavior, all the rest of it. She's the one who's just cutting the and kicking people's ass and doesn't want anything to do with this petty, really petty drama. Rhea Ripley is now entitled, undeserving, moaning, immature, like, no, it's mine. She's destined for a heel turn. Bianca Belair, there is an element of what the hell did she do wrong? What the hell did she do wrong? She is qualified, like, fairly for this match. But the problem with premising this storyline on Rhea Ripley not really earning the shot and in her mind getting screwed out of it when realistically it's all just a contrived device is that she is positioned to complain about the logic, to try and sort of hang the lantern on how none of this makes sense. But in doing so, she's now a complainer. So you've got an immature moaner, Rhea Ripley, a complainer who makes salient points, but at the same time, it's like the fans aren't reacting well. These aren't really babyface traits because you can't build a babyface in the context of this program other than Io Sky. You've basically dimmed the star of two wrestlers in a three-way match. This is piss poor, predictable, woefully contrived, almost catastrophic in terms of what you're doing in terms of promoting two really popular stars or once popular stars. A disaster. People talk about Charlotte Tiffany. This is more disastrous for me. This is way, way more disastrous because Tiffany at some point will eventually settle into a heel role. Charlotte Flair is just going to be a heel forever. So there's nothing spoiled really other than WWE's sort of stilted formal rhythms. If anything, I find it really captivating, but nothing spoiled. It's not destructive. Two wrestlers who are going to find themselves in a similar role or just getting there a bit quicker than is envisaged. This is genuinely worse. This is genuinely worse than the stuff happening on SmackDown.
Something else about this that is also rubbish, because it is rubbish. It is.
Disagree or?
No, I'll be all right on the night. Obviously, it's going to be class, but it's done now. It's all sorted. So thank you, Adam Pearce, for getting it all together.
But that's so key because we like a laugh here on this podcast. And I don't mind leaning into like the lowering standards of accepting a bad card. But for years now, I've enjoyed holding WWE high standards, like really enjoyed it. And I defended, I think it might have been the Punk Seth Roman thing, but there was another podcast where we were talking about, I am a fan that actually believes in the value of talking about things like a WrestleMania match, the WrestleMania main event. A lot of people dispute that because apparently all wrestling's got to be about hatred. Like, there's a load of things. There's so many ways to skin the cat in wrestling. There's even more in WWE because it's a stupid universe, right? one of the benefits of sports entertainment and all of that encompasses is the fact
it's a movie about a sport.
It's a movie about a sport. What we do is create a canvas and a landscape in which there are a lot of reasons to potentially fight. And I've always liked WrestleMania as the prize. We're all in our 30s. WrestleMania is 41. At this point, it is a prize. It is worthy on its own terms of being just a reason to fight. And so as a result, what I'm getting to there is that every year when there is a story of, I want my WrestleMania match, I want my spot, I buy that. But in the context of this world, there is no validation bigger than being on this card. And then now that the standards are a bit higher, and it's fallen off lately, but previously when you are kind of building to these cards, the idea should be, like, even when it's not totally the case, the idea should be, well, of the one night the 2 nights where you're going to establish the meritocracy, it's this one. There's no worse a card for just being like, well, I've complained and whinged enough that Adam Pearce is sick and he's letting me in the match. You can sort of do that for Backlash. You can kind of do it. Like even SummerSlam and like Survivor Series to a lesser extent, but WrestleMania is the one where that should be like, it should be like a red underline of the creative board, like no whinging to get on the card.
No bollocks this time. It's
ask
WrestleMania.
The question how you earned your way onto this card of all cards.
It's happened twice as well with Punk and Rhea.
Yeah.
Really dismal booking.
And we got after this confirmation that it is going to be Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominik Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. More on that in a bit. But actually, immediately afterwards, we go to the clubhouse and Liv's trying to convince Finn Balor. It's a good thing that there's 2 members of the Judgment Day in that match. And Balor mentions how some people have been saying that Dom's not got a killer instinct and he's a loser. But he can prove them all wrong by beating Penta tonight, not at WrestleMania.
Didn't he pin him last week?
Dominik.
Finn did.
Finn pinned him.
Finn pinned him.
But Carlito, thankfully, has got Dom's back, especially after putting over the Mall of America.
Home of the first Nitro, of course. Nitro, currently the second most celebrated weekly episodic wrestling show in history. For one more week.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a week tomorrow.
It's going to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be real fun.
And then we got, speaking of the
what if someone spray paints AEW on Mox's back? Ugh. So I think there's going to be some little references to DBC on Dynamite next week.
There might be.
There'll be a very fair and balanced AEW Dynamite review, though, next Thursday, won't there?
100%, yeah.
From Las Vegas.
Let's run off the audience. Good idea. Follow me at Sidgwick. In the absence of me being on the podcast, I will simply do a Twitter thread.
It's a Twitter thread.
Twitter. On why?
That's good. That's funny. It's the go home Dynamite for WrestleMania. They could.
Don't be dicks.
No, of course not.
We don't. We never dicks.
I like AEW again now. I told you I was kind of a frigging Dynasty than a lot of people. A lot of people still real mad.
Real mad.
They can't spray on his back because surely at the moment, like the wounds are too gaping. It'll get in there and infect him.
What followed was the women's IC title match. It was Bayley obviously challenging Lyra Valkyria for her belt. Some stiff old shots in there. Early on, Bayley just knees Lyra right in the head, but Lyra Valkyria bounces back, tries for some pins, and then does the sort of, it's a weird setup, isn't it? It's like the Walls of Jericho into what Pat McAfee called an Irish swing.
He was awful last night. I'm glad he brought his name up. Absolutely awful.
Not the worst on commentary.
No, but I don't know how the person you're referring to managed to limbo under that low bar.
Hey, Pat, you get less annoying on commentary? So, yeah.
I said it from day one. Pat McAfee's vibe reeked.
Yeah.
No, I've just got sense. Should be the arbiter of things. I just knew he was bad news. Everyone liked Pat McAfee.
I don't like detest him as much as a lot of people do. He's one of the guys, you say you've always tuned WWE commentary out.
It's difficult sometimes.
I find it very easy to tune him out.
And you listen and then critique. Do your job.
You're the one that told me to tune him out.
This is true.
The rules have changed.
Yeah, I love changing those rules. It's a good trait, isn't it?
Yes, sure is.
Valkyria got a 2 count out of the weird Irish swing thing that she did. Hits a drop kick through the ropes onto Bayley. And a crossbody from the top for a 2 count to take us to a break. When we come back, Bayley hits a neck breaker. Valkyria spills to the outside. Bayley hits a baseball slide, but Valkyria moves when she tries for a suicide dive. Ends up with Bayley hitting a Bayley to belly on the outside, and they both just barely make it in to break the 10 count. Lyra hits the Nightwing, but Bayley kicks out at 2. Tries to get Bayley up again, but Bayley gets out of it, and another really stiff knee to Lyra's head. Bayley also hits an awesome sunset flip bomb into the corner turnbuckle. Valkyria fights back, though, eventually. Hits a tornado DDT, fisherman suplex combo. Gets a nice near fall off that. Goes up top, but Bayley gets her and puts her in a Boston Crab. She gets the crowd really up for a potential title change here. Bayley tries to go for the Rose Plant, but Valkyria rolls through and rolls Bayley up to get the 1-2-3 post-match as initial refusal of a handshake by Bayley, but she comes back in and hugs Lyra. Crowd really into this.
Real good. Refreshingly so. Needed this from Bayley especially. Wrestling like they know they've got Liv Ospreay at WrestleMania and wanting to earn that spot because these two are obviously going to win the tag gauntlet, as they should. Like, there's now else happening. Let's just see that match. This was just refreshing, honestly, to see that like Bayley's still got a match like this in her. It's the Lyra Valkyria problem. They are using her to make the Intercontinental title the wrestling belt, the workhorse belt of old, in buildings that, by and large, simply do not respond to the work because there's no effort made to get the characters over or tell any stories. It's always just, here's a title match called, can the wrestlers wrestle the audience into it? That's the challenge every time. And Lyra Valkyria, for the most part, does it.
Yeah.
These singles matches, like there was the one she had where Dakota Kai went the same way, starts to virtual silence, and then the kind of audience have no choice but to lock in because the wrestlers are doing cool stuff. The hits get a little bit harder. There'll be like something like the suicide dive miss. It was the Scorpion crosslock when Bull Nakano did it. What was Paige's version of it? The PTO?
Oh, yeah.
Seeing that in this, the just stuff where like the audience kind of have no choice to do that. And then they're in. And like Lyra Valkyria keeps doing it. And I love Bayley, but there's been more bad than good from her in the last year or so. So this was great to see just ahead of what we assume will be the WrestleMania match. Really enjoyed this.
I did not think Bayley had this in her. This was really, really good. Gripping, engaging, like a nasty, unvarnished scrap with some, as you say, like some really heavy shots, some like really good technical pro wrestling. This felt like an aberration for the usual WWE house style. And as a result, someone who isn't inclined to like WWE's TV match formula, I had a really good time with this. I was almost hypnotized by it. Like the measure of WWE is, get off your phone, Sidgwick. Get off your phone and analyze what's in front of you. All right, there's nothing to analyze on the phone. It is. This was different. I was locked in, like way more dramatic than I had any right to be. It just, there's a great feeling, and we've talked about this before, of a match over delivering, and then just it becomes everything in front of you, and you're just completely like on the hook for everything they're doing. I can't really praise this enough, to be honest.
Just like total speculation, but knowing what we know about how much she clearly wanted to do for other people, if you're Becky Lynch, you must be rubbing your hands together at having a bit of a project here. Can I get this woman like all the way over? We can have some Lyra Valkyria.
I do worry about her personality or lack thereof.
Well, this is like, we can have the cool matches. I can see this now. Can I give her the rub? Can I try and make a star here, as I've done like a few times before? Because the fundamentals are in place, but that's the hardest step to take, isn't it, if you're Lyra Valkyria ultimately?
Yeah. We go backstage. Kathy Kelly is there with comedian Bert Kreischer, who's got a Netflix special to promote.
Don't they all?
But Chad Gable interrupts, assuming he's the only reason that Bert would ever come to Minnesota.
Should Gable more like with the
Good
stuff he's doing now.
That's
the stuff he's doing
stuff.
now.
I'm good that Chad Gable's going to miss WrestleMania. Like, he's not on the card, and it's just devastating for me. That's one of my biggest problems with this year's WrestleMania, genuinely.
Your biggest problem?
Yeah. Only
You
problem,
missed it
Rick.
last year.
Only problem. Good point, yeah. Bert says he didn't come to see American Made, and you hear, "Ooh, yeah, Bert." And Otis walks in, and they rip their shirts off. And Chad calls them idiots and storms off. And Bert tells Otis that having a shirt off is kind of his thing. And Otis says, "Babe, it's our thing now." And they hug. What a lovely moment.
Yeah.
This guy, you never know with these comedians, man. He's probably said something that a lot of people are really offended by.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I've seen the skit of him talking about like the first drink. You can never have a first kiss, but you can have a first drink on any given day. And did something to me. But you never know with these dudes. You never know, man.
It is weird. I like him on Two Bears, One Cave, but it is weird. With
the Chuddle alarm's gone off.
With him doing the show with Tom Segura, because I'm fairly certain Segura did a big thing about like wrestling kind of sucks, actually. And you could just tell Bert was having a really good time here. Just goes back, what do you do? What do you do on Monday night? Nothing. Not much. But then the star of the show turned up, because Jackie Redmond was, he'll turn up in a second. She was chatting to AJ Styles, talking about how Logan Paul said and did a lot of things last week. Asks AJ where his head's at, and he says, look, I'm in a good place. I get an opportunity to embarrass Logan Paul on the grandest stage of them all, because you can't beat experience. Experience! In comes our boy, Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
That experience worked for you last week. I know exactly got embarrassed. Huh? Explain this whole situation to me, please, AJ. And Styles like, what do you want, Karrion? You know exactly what I want, he says. All I want to do is help you. We need the AJ Styles that's going to get the job done. AJ's like, what's your obsession, mate? Because I can't let you lose at Mania. If you lose, we all lose. We need him, says Karrion. Styles says, I'll have a word with Postman Pearce and we'll have a match next week, and you get that version of AJ Styles, and walks off. Scarlett's like, I think we got him. Like, 100% we did. And he smiles. He's the best.
What do they mean got him? Do they just basically want to convince him to have a match so he wins and goes to WrestleMania or something?
Corrupt him, man. This is the WWE.
What did you say?
Corrupt him.
This is the WWE version of MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. It's like, I don't know what's happening. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on. I love it. They have, if you remember a few weeks ago, there was sort of a linking of AJ Styles to the Judgment Day. But then Karrion Kross was getting in Dominik's ear, and that was the point where we were like, is he not going to just be the new member that Finn doesn't want? He's going to take over the whole frigging thing. And obviously now you're seeing the dissension between Dominik and Finn about the future of the Judgment Day and all that. Like, post-WrestleMania.
Achieved. So, done that one.
Indeed. Post-WrestleMania, with AJ done with the Logan Paul thing, do they come back around to that? Like, if AJ beats him, I'm like, you're welcome. You didn't do anything. Didn't I? Like, and then that falls back into the jar. Something's going on, and it's weird, and I like it.
Nothing's going on.
You reckon?
Nothing's going on. I mean, what happened to Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn? Dropped like a stone.
Where's Sami Zayn?
Exactly.
So,
thank you,
mission
Karrion.
accomplished.
Look, I'm telling you now.
Karrion's got a match next week.
What happened to Karrion? What happened to the Final Testament versus the White Six?
Well, where are the White
Mr.
Six?
All makes sense.
Where are the White Six now? So, mission accomplished again.
Where are the Final Testament? Got fired.
Well, he's got to use them and throw them to the wayside, obviously. Doesn't need him anymore.
Okay.
What about the Miz?
Oh, he's...
I'm just enjoying this.
Did you see this on SmackDown, by the way? He's on top form, by the way.
No, he's not.
Have you heard the new catchphrase for Mello and The Miz? So they're like... I can't remember the other bollocks, so they've just merged the two things together. But they say, I'm The Miz, he's Mello, and we're awesome. No, you have to say him.
Say like Dusty Rhodes, apparently.
That's the way he says it.
It's a mess, and you're,
wallowing in the muck of Aravis.
I will always stand for Karrion Kross. Love that man.
I mean, I do enjoy him.
Yeah.
I do enjoy him, but I don't know what they're doing with him.
Who's going to see him wrestle next week? Yes.
No one's ever said that, though, so that's the most disingenuous bit yet.
Have you seen the Metallica promo from NXT? I love me some of that. Dominik Dijakovic, whatever he's called, it was like blue in the face. I didn't realise he even did that. I didn't see that at the time.
Keith Lee. Oh, goodness me, the contract's on fire.
That's still on fire.
It's the worst stuff ever, wasn't it? It was the worst stuff
Yeah, it's
ever.
the best day of that. Right.
That was as bad as we got.
Okay.
Everything.
After this, it was the LWO, that's Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro,
Oh my God.
and Joaquin Wilde versus American Made, well, Julius Creed and Brutus Creed from American Made. Unfortunately, of course, Chad Gable not medically cleared, so his place in American Made was taken by El Grande Americano, who fit right in, to be fair.
Yeah. That's a matching game made for it, didn't it?
He did.
Yeah, spot on.
It all breaks down very early on. They all brawl in the ring, but the LWO team do a big load of dives onto their opponents, go back in, but American Made take back over and hit a series of superplexes that takes to a break. When we come back, Julius and Dragon Lee are fighting. Dragon Lee does his double stomp thing. Del Toro gets a hot tag and runs wild. But then El Grande Americano gets involved, gets face-to-face with Dragon Lee, who power bombs him. And then Julius appears out of nowhere and hits a shooting star press.
Oh my God.
Still holding the candle for that boy.
Me too.
And then...
Because you get one of these every 8 months out.
I know. Yeah.
And they just remind you and then go away for ages.
I love Joaquin Wilde.
Yeah.
He had the thing last year with the big spring flying. This time...
Slingshot.
Yeah. This time he runs up, I think, both of the Creed brothers and flips. It goes so high yet again. Flips onto the outside to take out, I think it was El Grande Americano. I'll give it.
Oh my God.
Del Toro hit a nice corkscrew off the top turnbuckle to the outside as well. But in amongst all this, Ivy Nile, who's clearly developed a friendship with El Grande Americano, hands him something to load his mask, basically. Rey sees this, Rey Mysterio this is, and tries to interfere, but he headbutts him, and it ends up with Dragon Lee getting hit with a headbutt by the loaded mask from Americano and a diving headbutt to get the 1, 2, 3.
I mean,
Superb.
this is absolutely superb.
Wouldn't look out of place on a Dynamite, this.
No,
Genuinely.
no.
Like, the way it was agented to never really give you a chance to catch your breath. And then at the one moment where you're thinking, right, settle back in, as your point about like in the Bayley match about that WWE pattern stuff, it was like, no, here's something bigger. Like, they would always seem to time it out where like, it's like spot you identified, and there was a couple of other ones in the middle where like there was an aerial or something where it's like, all right, now I thought we were going to an ad break, or I thought we were going to a headlock or something. It's like, no, here's some more because there's 6 of them out there to do this. This is the match as well. I like the LWO, great, and they're always great in this spot, but you know where they sit on the pecking order, so you're never invited to receive them as stars. The Creeds, on the other hand, and like I've got to put over El Grand Americano because he only had a few weeks at this, fitting right in. But the Creeds, this is what we were desperate to see all those months, years maybe in NXT, and it is criminal that we've not. Like, if you do this every week, it becomes boring, it becomes normal. It reduces a wrestler's star power ultimately. However, to get this one in 8 to 12 weeks is not on. It is malpractice to like restrict the Creeds in the way they have been when you get like a glimmer of evidence that they could be massive. This tag division is on its arse.
On its ass.
What are we doing reducing these to backstages most weeks when they could do this sort of stuff in their sleep?
Do this in the... Have them try and interfere in the match that we get announced later on. Rey versus El Grande Americano. Just chuck them all in there.
Aye.
Do more of these sports. I loved it.
This was exhilarating, joyful, creative, like just this relentless joy of a TV pro wrestling match. I couldn't have loved, well, I could have loved it more. I would still put it like 3 and 3, but just this idea of, it was just such an unashamed spot fest where the idea was get a pop, leave it all in the ring. There's no need to be mechanical or rote. It just felt like an unadulterated version of something WWE rarely gets right. As you said, like, I didn't want to be the one to say it, but this was like AEW tier joy, twists, layers, like complex chaining of sequences, like a real bit of flair. That like sort of leapfrog on the stone spot was just absolutely phenomenal. Didn't even feel that contrived. Just a really well, and it's a dirty word in pro wrestling. I don't think it should be. I really don't think it should be. This was an incredibly well choreographed trios match.
Yes.
Choreography has this, it's sort of like conflated with fake. Guess what? It's all fake and none of it looks real ever.
Choreography is hard. You have to learn it. It's like, it ain't ballet. Well, it sort of is because ballet is really hard as well.
Ballet is punishing on the body. No, I think a well-crafted spot fest is really fiendishly difficult to do. I always use the example, not that anyone will ever on the other side, the other side, take it seriously or comprehend it or, let themselves into that sort of washed brain of theirs. If the Young Bucks were bad at what they do, right, they would not get people audibly, visibly losing their minds more and 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 more because they can block these things, they can choreograph these things, lay them out better than anyone ever, right? Other than maybe the peak of Dragon Gate. But I would argue that the Young Bucks have really taken it to that next level. I've seen a million quote-unquote spot fests that didn't get over. Guess what? Because as a craft.
Yeah.
People think they're easy. It's such a load of shit. And this was really, really well done. Choreography, I want a campaign now. It should not be a dirty word. It should not be a dirty word.
What was that? We'll not name names, but we knew through maybe 2 times the Young Bucks ever worked WCPW. They got there late. There was problems with their gear and all the rest of it, and they still turned up and like...
People can now identify who...
Like they were agenting people's matches.
That's
at like a moment's notice, and they ended up class on the night.
No, you don't need an insider scoop there. I mean, I'm not being funny. Look what Private Party have done in AEW with and without the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. This
wasn't quite the very best Young Bucks tier match type, but my God, this was a lot of fun. Really difficult to do and do well.
What followed was a big recap of obviously everything that happened with Gunther and the Usos last week. And then out walks Mr. Bean. Sorry, out walks Gunther. He
really didn't care for his just the colour choices of the shirt and tie. Thought he looked really ugly for the first time ever.
Mr. Bean looking ace though. And he
like
was
red and white so horrible together.
Don't do that.
It is to me.
I get that actually.
As a person who runs Eric's Little Kickers football thing at the weekend, you can tell sometimes one lad runs it, and one time another lad ran it, and they have little stamps that they get at the end of it. One of them uses a red sticker, one of them uses a black sticker, and anytime they see the other one, who stamped this?
It's a real thing, isn't it? Your brain gets that hardwiring from when you're younger, and you're like, oh, baddie colours. Yeah. No, there's a kid who...
Blue and yellow for me.
Who's that? Is that Mansfield?
Mansfield.
Yeah.
Scum. Sorry.
It's all right.
Off topic there.
What were we even talking about? I can't remember.
Gunther.
Red and white.
Yeah. I thought he looked like almost...
the best he's ever looked.
Well, it was like... Well, no, because he had like... Obviously, it was like the light tan suit as well, wasn't it? Like sort of party mood. Party mood, Gunther. Just put your brother in the hospital.
He was
Everything is great.
He
like,
was all smiles, wasn't he? Yeah.
Like normally, obviously, he's got the dark like sort of palette and things like that, but not tonight. It's like, hey, WrestleMania's here.
He was about that far away from high-fiving people walking through the ring. Oh, that's how you think. Yeah, no worries.
Like, how can they possibly follow last week? Everything's awesome.
So he comes out. He's very happy with himself. Obviously, we want Jey chants. But before even Gunther could talk, yes, Jey Uso's music hit, and everyone starts to yeet around the arena.
Yeah, it is kind of actually.
Has he been doing it on SmackDown?
We started at the desks, and it's gradually making its way to Smackers.
Wait till the main event, by the way.
It's awful. 0.5 speed eating.
I got something for you in the main event as well, Sidge.
I don't know where this came from yesterday, but I just remembered.
So everyone's yeeting, obviously, around the arena, but Jey Uso is not. He is serious. He looks very angry. I like the fact as well, it cut back, and Gunther wasn't suddenly like, oh, God, this is a different version of Jey. He was like, whoa, and like rolling up his sleeves on his shirt. So Jey gets in. He's in all black. He looks very angry. He smashes the microphone out of Gunther's hand, takes off his yeet sunglasses.
Oh, just cracked. You broke me with your bull.
You're in a car going over a speed bump.
Oh, Eric, that's his new favourite thing, by the way. When
Speed
we go to
bumps.
Tesco and I'm like in the back with him.
Oh, God, I've just remembered what the thing is in the main event.
Yeah.
Sidge, I'm so sorry, mate.
I'll just walk out if I want.
I think you'll actually enjoy it. It's just,
I don't really know what it is, to be honest, either.
Well,
I don't know where it came from. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So Jey gets on the mic and he's sort of speaking in hushed tones. He asks Gunther, you got a mom? Gunther's a bit all confused by this. And he's like, talk to her. What do you talk about? Family stuff? How's the wife? How's the grandson? He says he's got a mother too, does Jey. And he had to tell her last week that her son is in a hospital bed with 15 stitches in his head. And
Why do you sound like you're on CNN?
it's serious. His mom asked Jey, why didn't you protect him, Joshua? Jey said he wasn't going to lie to his mom. And he told her he was afraid of Gunther.
Because I was zip-tied. You're not watching the show.
He says, look, you had me. I'm playing checkers, you're playing chess, but
No good. I suck.
that wasn't enough for you. You had to get my family involved. He recalled watching Gunther wiping his brother's blood all over his body. He's never felt so hopeless and helpless and pissed off.
You got some security in.
He yelled at Gunther, saying he violated his twin in front of him, made his heart stop. But in his darkest moments, a light bulb went off for him. And he's realised he's not afraid of Gunther no more. Everyone's like, yeet! Stop yeeting, it's serious. Jey,
Haven't stopped watting
yes.
for 23 years. Good luck.
He says he wants Gunther to kiss his family the night before WrestleMania. And he's going to lay his head down and say a prayer for Gunther and for himself, asking the Lord to forgive him for what he's about to become. He said at WrestleMania, I'm going to get you, Gunther, for me, for Jimmy, for my whole damn family, and I'm going to take the World Heavyweight Championship. And he throws down the microphone and storms out.
Oh my God.
Love this.
Agree. Loved it. I wish I could believe that WWE, as it was in 2023 and most of 2024, to be the plotting, right, here's the end point, got 12 weeks, whatever it is, television, and here's what every week is going to be. I wish I could believe that it was still the case. I don't anymore. But if you were to plot back all of this from when Jey wins the Royal Rumble, you could make an argument that the story was that. I think they've pivoted when Jey Uso had that absolute 10-second stinker with Austin Theory and decided to include. I don't believe that was part of the plan. Hey, go and suck out there and then we're going to make it part of the story. That was obviously something they added. But the rest of this, including the building Big Jim alongside to become almost a US title contender, starting to have the first few credible singles matches of his friggin' life, over on SmackDown.
And he wrestled The Miz.
Indeed, and that think about the ground that covers, Sidge. He's main evented WrestleMania. He's won every title. I'll talk you through all of his career achievements later on.
He's got the best rainmaker in wrestling, The Miz.
As I was saying, they went to some lengths to establish Jimmy Uso as a guy that would want to fight for his brother and could fight for his brother and give Gunther a match.
Yes.
You weren't going to buy that 6 months ago, and they were like, I'll slap your face and I'll kick your ass for what you've done to my brother's confidence at this time when he wants to just ride his wave of momentum all the way into WrestleMania. And then that happens last week. So again, I don't think it's been perfectly plotted, but you would think by the immense quality of this segment, in my opinion, following on from last week's, with a week to go home Raw next week, that they've done it. They've actually achieved what felt a little bit impossible after Jey won the Rumble, of keeping this hot and having it, having things undulate a bit and having things change along the way that gets us to WrestleMania. A super impressive bit of business that probably should be headlining night one. That's my stance on this. Still think it stands up more than the actual main event.
Of course it does. The main event booking absolutely sucks.
Wow.
No, it does.
No.
It does.
No.
Well, it does.
Disagree.
Tell you what, this was real good stuff. A little bit WWE, if I may say so. A little bit overwrought.
But what was bad about it?
A little bit overwrought. It's very much that sort of unseen.
Yeah.
At the end, But, I know where they're going with it. It was effective. His performance was just good enough, I think. I mean, it was amazing if you like the sort of slop. But for me, if you don't, I think it was just good enough, Past the old, that's quite good, even for them, that kind of test, if you are a cynic. I will say that, oh my God, between the angle last week, the promo this week, if he somehow conspires to not be awful, his usual awful self at WrestleMania, you got the trifecta. You have got the trifecta. So much between the angle, promo, match trifecta, that makes a good TV show. If you can encompass all of that in a FUED, a program, we don't do bits, then you'll have a program, my son. And I think they are going to bloody do it. If he blades his tits, blade your tits, blade your tits. Blade your tits, blade your tits. That's what he needs to do.
Do you think he can win? Do you think Jey can win?
It's fake. As Triple H or Rob Fee or Ari Emanuel says so, then yeah, you can.
God damn.
What?
What happened to you?
Well, you asked the question. That was silly.
Do you think Jey Uso
You're
can win
going on like Grande Americano's not Chad Gable. You're asking as if the wrestler can win. It all depends. Ask Paul Levesque, don't ask me.
Ask the letter at the end of the Booker's pencil, Hamflett. Like, can Jey Uso beat Gunther? Can he become world champion?
I will say that, I mean, it's only Seth Rollins' belt. So it doesn't really matter to me. But this doesn't count, does it? I mean, it's one of those things where it doesn't count. They've literally got...
That's two. Go yourself, Sidge. Want a third?
But you know, he can't be the undisputed champion. His work rate isn't good enough. I'm sorry. But it does count to a degree.
Beer money theme. Sorry about your
Work rate. It's a dirty word in the cinema. But I'm telling you now, it matters. Like, Jey Uso can't beat Cody Rhodes. But guess what? There's already literally an undisputed champion. You know, Seth's glorified Intercontinental. It's fine. You know, I think if he puts his best foot forward, Hamflett, and works hard enough, and his endurance is, real strong, I think he might beat Gunther. I think,
his best foot forward. Are you suggesting that he's got the best super kick in wrestling?
He's got two left feet, so...
they can both throw super kicks.
No, they can't.
That sounds like a super kick party.
He
have a super kick party.
He doesn't get the thrust. It's called... Why don't you thrust on the thrust kick? Why don't you thrust on a 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 thrust kick instead of leaning back and just pointing your foot in the direction of some guy's face?
It's a super kick. He's not called Thrust Man. He's called Superman.
It's called Yeet Man, if anything.
Yeah, he is.
I will say that he can win Seth's bad belt. Who cares? And at this point, I've gone soft. Like, come on. Like, he kind of has to. The kids are with him. The kids do the little... So maybe...
What's happening in the schools?
I just don't really...
Me in adolescence.
Also on
Gunther continues to find new ways to be awesome.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like... He's well supported by the booking, like he has been since Levesque took over.
Looks unnerved.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, his facials are great. We should mention him here.
He can do it all, Gunther.
He could, like, there's two ways they can go, result depending. Either he loses and he becomes yet more unhinged and psychotic and all the rest of it, or he wins and just gets all the way. The guy who made all those kids cry at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
This calls for CM Punk. You know, there's roots, there's routes.
And it's not going on last, so that takes the pressure off that need for that babyface win as well.
Yeah.
Then we go to Postman Pierce's room, where just leaving is Maxine Dupri and Natalia. No! Talk more about them on Friday. Rey Mysterio walks in and he says...
I don't think we will.
El Grande Americano is making a mockery of everything he ever loved, and he wants him at WrestleMania. And, Postman Pierce confirms it.
Yeah. This will be really good.
Oh, yeah.
Totally out of nowhere. Pulling it out their ass.
What will?
Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable in the singles match for WrestleMania.
No, he's not
Sorry,
wrestling.
yeah. El Grande Americano, yeah.
Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable will be really good. You know,
it's going to rule.
it's out of nowhere.
And then you get, that's not fair. It's not totally out of nowhere, but like, I didn't expect this character shift to result in it. Like, I've expected nothing to result in singles matches anymore. And for all the things to result in a singles match, this one.
Yeah.
Like, didn't see this coming.
Excited for that.
Yeah.
Then comedian Tony Hinchcliffe joined commentary for a tag title match. Any words on the man hosting the roast of WrestleMania?
Got as many words as he has jokes.
Honestly, he's absolutely awful. I've read the stories that he wasn't very good at his job. And, his delivery, it's not like hack material done in any kind of, like, good way. I just thought he looked timid. Like, it just didn't look cut out for his own job at all.
You were calling David and Goliath should have gone to Backstage as well, Michael.
Yeah. It's weird because he's a big wrestling fan. I know that. Because when he had
Corey Graves actually look like Bobby Heenan.
I've done it. He
nerves then if he wants the respect of everybody else.
He's a stand-up. He's used to.
He's been on Rogan with Joe Rogan and Jake the Snake. That's why he was there as a sort of go-between for. I don't know what was going on here.
That roast of WrestleMania thing's not getting televised, is it? So they're just going to go like lowest brow, low-hanging fruit stuff. Just to get the cheap claps.
Well, one of his jokes, this arena's pretty big, Michael, but there's a bigger arena. It's the inside of your ears. What?
What
the hell was that?
Any other shows on that he be better to go into over WrestleMania weekend you can think of?
I can think of one.
What's that?
That's the What Culture Wrestling live show at the HyperX Arena on April 18th. WhatCulture.com/tickets. There's going to be, Wilbourn, a live show. A SmackDown watch party.
Oh.
Simon Miller doing ups and downs on that SmackDown.
Yeah.
And which is filmed for YouTube, by the way. And then a WrestleMania preview podcast. And then drink until later whenever they kick us out, which is about 11 o'clock. Because anything's possible in the pyramid. Mostly eating and drinking and watching us do daft stuff on stage. It's going to be class. And depending on when you see this, you might already know these, but more announcements are coming, like very, very imminent, that we're not allowed to talk about yet. Because
We say where the watch ups and downs.
Yeah, massive trouble.
We'll
with
listen
Phil.
to it on the podcast.
Watch ups and downs, listen on the podcast, as you would anyway, probably. But we're just really excited.
I'm going to do a stage dive.
Yeah, stage dive. Catch
you're not.
Catch Wilbourn live at the HyperX. Catch him.
I got a tweet, I think it was from the
But you hope the Miz doesn't show up.
Brazilian Air. I got a tweet from, I think it was the
You
Brazilian
don't
Air.
want to do the live show. You don't want to do it standing in the living, mate. Oh,
From someone.
in there.
Someone said, I'll be there to
Hope he
catch
does.
you. So one person. One person's definitely going to be there to catch me at least. So
Okay.
see how it goes.
He's trying to like get a crowd together now, basically.
Starting to organise,
I need some confirmed names. This is not like, yeah, be in the crowd and catch me. No, I need a list.
Yeah.
I need certain people to sit in an exact spot.
You're going to keep your glasses on, or?
Good question. Probably not. That's probably a bad idea, that, isn't it? But then I won't be able to see where I'm going.
Yeah, I like the idea of you sort of
The
picking.
specky twat conundrum.
You remember that when Sammy Guevara went to that table, it was like, what's that 20-foot table doing there? Like, where should I dive off the stage? Should I dive over there? The 40 people that I got ahead of time to stand right there. Are we ready, guys?
What's better, right? Bit of a UK versus USA thing. Specky twat or Four Eyes.
I like Specky Twat.
Poindexter.
I like
Dexter.
I like Four Eyes. That's what someone was
Four
doing
Eyes,
cooking
yeah.
when they came up with that.
Cooking.
Do it? Four Eyes.
It goes back to like the first time anyone used sarcasm. The first time somebody goes Four Eyes. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Write this down.
He's only got...
Like, rush home from work. You're not going to believe what happened today.
I genuinely remember when I first heard Body Off Baywatch, Face Off Crime Watch, and I was like, I need to write that down. It's so good.
Where'd that come from, bro?
It's like such a good put down.
Accelerated real fast.
We all know one. Right, let's talk about this tag title match. It was the New Day challenging the War Raiders.
Don't say that, bro.
Come on. So,
Go back down.
yeah. New Day cheat.
Did I have
loads.
everything?
What? Oh, it's gonna. Don't you worry. Because Eric takes control, slams both of them, also slams his partner onto Kofi Kingston. Woods gets thrown to the outside and grabs the chair, but Eric just cuts it off with a punch. And Ivar hit a splash on Woods to the outside. Takes us to break. When we come in, we come back from the break, sorry, Eric comes in to clean house. It's a huge spine buster on Kofi Kingston, a pop-up power slam. They also hit Kofi with the War Machine, but Woods makes the save. Tries to bring in a chair, but Ivar takes it away and then just hits him with it. And the referee calls on the DQ, and Ivar's like, I didn't do anything. He did.
Our old friend Debbie Deeks.
Old DB Deeks.
Debbie Deeks. They did this in the Creeds one, and the Creeds got a rematch. They're doing it in the New Day one. They're going to get a rematch.
But
WrestleMania.
what kind of rematch? Are you going to...
Could be on a boat.
Could be,
Could be any kind of stipulation match.
I didn't even think about
It
the
could even
Viking
be a
rules.
boat.
A Viking rules match. A Vegas Viking rules match. A boat, but it's got like lights and roulette wheels on it. Instead of like the ship's wheel, it's a roulette wheel.
Because it wasn't just like a Debbie Deeks. It was like Debbie Deeks, and then Kofi hit the hardest chair shot I've ever seen him hit to the back of Ivar.
The beat down and the idea they were targeting his neck was quite...
That was quite good. That was quite good.
Yeah, they beat up Eric. There's a chair shoved in the corner, chuck him into that, chuck Ivar into the timekeeper's area, and they're going to Pillmanize Eric's neck. Kofi's about to come off the top when all the officials break it all up, and I just thought, oh my God, fucking rules of WrestleMania, let's go.
Funny how these things work sometimes, like just accidental timing. It couldn't top FTRs from Dynasty. But I was actually thinking of the New Day and FTR at Dynasty because the way that Dax kicked the stretcher over reminded me when he kicked the ice cream truck over when they first arrived at Raw. I was like, it's funny how these things happen coincidentally. But yeah, WrestleMania on a boat maybe, that'd be good.
Yeah, but I'd be on a boat, otherwise it's going to reek. I'll level with you. I went and did a quick little go on my phone watching this, and I was like, oh God, I have to pay attention. Oh, I actually had a long time on Twitter there. I should probably... Debbie Dick's good.
I was going to ask you what you went on. Like, because if would Twitter not potentially have spoilers? You know,
What?
like, I was going to ask what you did on your phone because
okay.
like, does Twitter not, you don't care if you see a spoiler. It's like,
Yeah.
We get a...
It's truthfully, right, it's the penultimate Raw before WrestleMania. Nothing happens on these shows traditionally.
it's all set up mostly, isn't it?
All set up, and they've got one big angle. They're going to do it on the Monday before, aren't they? The Monday before.
You say nothing, Sid, but let me take you in a time machine. 26 years ago, a little fella called Stone Cold.
Yeah, I know.
Drove a beer truck to the ring. Maybe I'll save that story for another day.
What was the goal?
That was the point I was making.
Yeah.
Something happens on these last ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Occasionally
saying.
get things that they replay.
No, I'm saying the penultimate.
Oh, the penultimate.
Sucks
That's
always.
not a penultimate.
Yeah. The go home show is always really good. That's what I'm saying. Oh, like often.
It's not even-
Sometimes.
Sometimes. some of the time. 3 things they just replay ad nauseum.
We get a video recapping Cena Cody Rhodes.
Oh my God.
Press that button.
It was
Balance.
awesome. It was
Balance.
awesome. That
What was?
the Cena Cody thing.
No, it wasn't.
I like this video. Yeah,
Oh, you like everything, bro.
it's true. This time, yeah, you're right. You're right.
The whole Fuad has been a complete bomb.
It's been a mixed,
They've just talked at each other, and the talk has been nonsense.
mixed conditional bomb. This, because it'll be survived by how cool the term was, and then it's like, don't ask questions about why it happened or any of the follow-up sucking. Like that's just like The Rock might turn up, maybe he won't. Who knows?
He'll turn up.
Does he even exist? Like
How many
Travis Scott.
steps ahead is he now?
How many days away from WrestleMania are we?
What is it?
11?
Yeah.
11 steps ahead. Simples.
You hate yourself. I know that.
Penta versus Dominik Mysterio is next.
That's got to be one of the worst eras of
I know,
how
I know, I know.
how to end an argument with one word. Simples. Oh,
What was it? It's Alexandra Burke back in the day was just like, okay.com. And I was like, oh, God. That might be up there for me. X Factor days. It was a different time for me.
I was watching an old Raw this morning for a piece I'm doing, and like a Brock Lesnar debut, but when he comes in on that 2002 Raw, just decimates everybody. The segment like just before that where Matt Hardy and Lyra are making out. He's crazy.
Nice.
He's probably going to have sex later on. William Regal comes in, hey, bloody tramp, I'm pissing a teeth or whatever. And like Matt Hardy says, you're just mad because you ain't getting none. And Lyra's like, oh, tag. Oh, tag. What the f***ing hell are you talking about?
Oh, tag.
I haven't played that since I was at school and playground. That was where you learned to work. They said, you around that corner, William? No. And then I fooled them. I took that with me into the ring. Can't all just be ladders, Matthew?
Yeah, I can't. Oh, no. Oh, what?
You best keep that brother of yours healthy. Oh,
Probably, yeah.
I think we had the same thought there, Sidge, and I quickly put it back on my head.
Yeah.
Dominik actually has control early on against Penta, but then thinks it's a good idea to pose on the second rope. So Penta kills him with a backbreaker and a sling blade. He also hits a crossbody on Dominik, and Carlito's out there for him, of course. That takes us to a break. When we come back, Dom hits the three amigos, drop kicks Penta, and sets up for a 619, but runs straight into a super kick. Penta also hits a double stomp on Dom in the corner. Dom gets his shoulder up at 2. Penta tries for his finisher, but Dom counters and hits a destroyer of his own. Then hits the 619, goes for the frog splash, but Penta gets his knees up. Dom tries for a clothesline, but Penta takes him down. Sacrifice, Penta driver, 1, 2, 3. Let's talk match, because the post-match is incredible.
I enjoyed the whole thing a great deal, but I like the match because they're just making Dominik skilled enough again that he can at least compete in this match. You know, they've always been very careful with
You'll
Dominik.
buy him trying to nick a pin.
Yeah, like in the tags and stuff, it's easy to hide what he can't do. But we're at the point now, well, years past the point where it's like, you know, for a crap wrestler, he's a pretty good wrestler. There has to be occasionally some credible stuff in there. And there's just enough. There's always just enough with Dominik. I like how they measure his matches, and I enjoyed this.
It's always that thing of like, how bad could he possibly be? Like, it's that he has to be bad, but he can't be too bad. Elements too bad here. Too bad.
Too bad.
Too bad. Like the setup, air quotes, trip into the 619 was appalling. Van Penta, I'm getting up. Like, do that again. I can't just like flop onto the second rope. And it was just interesting that the recovery time from the Mexican Destroyer, I just thought that was bad if you have to, you know. I didn't endure all of that. Package pile driver means something up north. This course, just to see this spot months later and no one give a about it. Like, what we doing? I hate all of you.
That's our Penta. That's what happened with this pile driver, isn't it?
Yeah, I hate all of you. I hate all of you. And as well, there was one other point I wanted to make that has escaped me. Now it's drifted away.
I'm in Dreamland watching this Penta push still happen. I love it.
Dreamland.
It's not going to last. It can't last forever. Just love watching him be this star. It's fantastic. It will dim. It will go out there. We'll put the Lucha Brothers together at some point down the line, and you might as well make use of that as well. But like, ride this wave of Penta as long as you can. It feels massive. Like, he might win the belt at WrestleMania, and that'd be cool too.
I don't think he wins the belt.
No, I mean, Braun just retained.
Just does the job.
We'll see.
But post-match, Carlito attacks Penta, hits him with a backstabber, and then Braun Breaker's music hits, and he hits, I think, the greatest spear of all time on Carlito. He flies down the aisleway to spear him. Also hits one on Dirty Dom and Penta. Then Finn Balor appears and drops Braun Breaker, celebrates with the IC title, but then turns around and realizes, oh God, he's recovered, and bails before Braun Breaker can get his hands on him.
The headline is the spear. It's incredible. It's one of them things you could hate WWE. Go out of your way to watch it. If you haven't seen it already, because it feels like one of them things that'll be
awesome.
Viral as we talk. You know,
First
like
thing Eloise said to me this morning.
Right. So like catching it just through opening your phone. It is incredible. And like there's one maybe at least once a month. Well, you got to go look at that Braun Breaker spear, you know, whether it's at like PLEs or they film a weird Raw one, whatever. This, for me, this four-way is like proof, if proof be need be, that you can do good multi-mans when you've actually got discipline in your booking, and WWE haven't. Like, this is an example of a setting that justifies itself. You made the great point, Sidge, and I'm going to lean on it for months because I think it's the route with Braun Breaker through to him finding the next level. The more people you put around him, the better it all gets, the better he gets to look. And this is a multi-man that's been, like, story's been quite well told to keep them all together. You've got the infighting within the Judgment Day. You've got Penta has arrived and wants to make a statement. Braun wants to kind of defend his little kingdom as the upper mid-card of Raw. If there's not loads of multi-mans, if there's not loads of compromise elsewhere on the card, this is just simply great on its own terms. What happens is it gets lost in the molasses of all the other multi-mans, and more's the pity, because this is the one. This feels different. This feels heated. The others feel like, we couldn't figure out what to do, so we just mulched them all together.
Yeah. The spear, goddammit. Go and watch it. I can only echo Hamflett. Go and watch it if you've not seen it already. It's less a spear and more a running sprint into someone's bowels. It just looked like it sucked to take. I cannot wait for the spear at Mania.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you put any... It's not necessarily like me endorsing the story, because I do think, it's just yet another multi-man match. I think they would have had a good spear or a great spear. Like, that would have been the thing. How do we get the best bronze spear for the best show, the biggest show, whatever? But there could be several spears in this.
Well, I think it's nice that they've delivered an aisle one now, because the Mania one's going to be twice as long, and Dominik at the end of it.
Yeah, after
it's like double what we just had. Like,
Dominik moving out of the way, Finn getting the spear, just because you get Dominik's facial expression on the back of that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Get confirmation next week. Karrion Kross versus AJ Styles and Roman Reigns set to appear on the Go Home Raw ahead of WrestleMania. And then the main event is Paul Heyman coming out to talk about everything that happened on SmackDown. Of course, he does his usual stuff. And launches right into it saying He'll always be loyal to his tribal chief, Roman Reigns, but he'll also always be loyal to his best friend in the world, CM Punk. Just because he's loyal to both of them doesn't mean he's going to be disloyal to either of them. And he said when it comes to WrestleMania, he wants to get one thing perfectly clear. And then we hear Seth Rollins music.
Is that the thing?
I had nothing to do with this, Sidge. He just started coming in his pants on the SmackDown review. And he was like, well, I'm keeping that Seth comes in his pants, he walks the ring. Well, now that's what Wilbourn's illustrating to the video viewers that haven't seen the show yet. I don't know how this happened. Nicholas?
I wish I had an answer, Sidge. It was like, Joe, you just feel like it's something I shouldn't be looking at. Like it felt too real.
I like it.
Oh, you're not going to believe it, Wilbs.
What?
The bloody audio and the cameras have missed that.
Do you want me to do it again?
If you wouldn't mind, because I don't want the viewers to not get what they came for.
Heyman says when it comes to WrestleMania, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. Minneapolis, says Seth Rollins. Welcome to Monday Night Rollins. He says, it's not about me tonight, though. It's about you, Paul Heyman. Talks about you talking about loyalty, Paul. Whose side are you on? You going to be the very best friend to CM Punk or the wise man to Roman Reigns? You're trying to convince everyone you can do both at the same time. But it's occurred to me that you're neither. Look, at the end of the day, Roman Reigns doesn't give a damn about you, Paul, says Seth. He uses you to shine his shoes, to book his private jets, to hand him his ulafala. But he doesn't respect you. But last year, Roman lost his WWE Championship thanks to some very well-dressed visionary. And then Roman disappeared, and he left you in the hands of Solo Sikoa. And you were treated like the scum of the earth, and he never even came to save you, even when you were massacred in front of your hometown.
Senator! Don't you miss the Seth stuff?
Don't miss this. Come on. Great stuff, this.
It's amazing, this.
You were massacred in your hometown in front of your children. Senator! Neither was CM Punk there for you 10 years ago. He walked out on everyone, walked out on you too. He didn't come back even when you asked him to. He said he wasn't even first choice to be on Team Roman at War Games. I was. I declined, and then Punk only did it because he knew he could get a favor out of you. Punk loves no one but himself. But he has to be honest, feels bad for Paul Heyman. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. The best solution would just be to remove himself from the situation altogether and let them battle it out. But he can't and he won't do that. If only there was a solution, a way he could be removed. It would be his privilege to remove Paul Heyman right here, right now. Look, one quick stomp and it's all over. Nobody's here to save you. Roman's not here. What did Punk say? He's not here to make friends. He's here to make money. Well, how much is Paul Heyman worth? And he starts pushing him. Worth this much, knocking him about. And Paul fires back. Don't put your damn hands on me again. And Rollins shoves Paul Heyman into the corner. And finally, CM Punk's music hits. He runs down to the ring, brawls with Seth Rollins. They fight around the announce area. Rollins gets sent into the steps. Punk tries to stomp him on the steps, but Rollins rolls into the ring. Punk goes after him and gets hit with a Seth Rollins stomp. And as Paul is checking on his best friend, Rollins sets up, but just stops short of hitting a stomp on Paul Heyman's head. And he concludes by saying, now you owe me a favor.
I thought this was a terrific follow-up to the SmackDown segment. Like, obviously, I think it's clear that me and Sid are going to have different opinions on this. But I will say I think that's probably based on, like, this kind of mileage may vary storyline, isn't it? I think they're at, like, Friday was finally the segment that brought all three of them together rather than seeing an, like, infinitely preferable singles match with a third guy or thinking, well, the heat was always really in the kind of individual matches rather than ever between the three. Friday solved that problem for me, and I enjoyed how they furthered it here, genuinely. I like the Paul Heyman involvement of this. It like the Paul Heyman overacts. Like that's a problem, and it's a reality. Seth Rollins is not for everyone, but I am enjoying how both of them have factored into this. the relationship, obviously, that Paul Heyman has, he's CM Punk's very good friend. He's the wise man for Roman Reigns. And now he's not nothing to Seth Rollins, but he's indebted to him just this tiny amount. He's indebted to him this tiny amount, and that what they've done is put out there what, if you are into this storyline, you've been invited to speculate on anyway. Are we seeing here that it's actually going to be Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman end up together? Seth Rollins pushing him around was more evidence that they turned him heel regardless. I think he'll go here after WrestleMania. There was the links with Drew McIntyre coming out the back of War Games where they were sort of, even they were kind of going right, we're not mates or anything, but you're joking me. What? Are we the last two sane people around here, I loved Seth Rollins bringing back up just that little glimmer of light that maybe the Fed isn't dead just yet or on the slow road to death. Bringing up about War Games, it was me first. You were the one that brought Punk into this. It would have been me that would have stepped in and helped your precious Roman Reigns if it wasn't for your so-called very good friend CM Punk coming and saving the day. I like that they've kind of kept that. That was the stuff around November time now, before Punk put himself in the conversation with Roman, where you're thinking, well, it's Punk Seth at Mania then. That conversation went away because of the Netflix match, but that was the chat for a bit, wasn't it? And that was what it felt like they were doing, and they've kept it and they've used it, and I do like that. It's why you should take care with your characters. Ultimately, is why you should have the show Bibles and things like that. I just think all of this, I think, is dependent on if you can stomach Paul Heyman's acting and stomach Seth Rollins in this match, because I really, really like this story.
I can't, Doug.
And he can't, Doug. I'm a situational Seth guy. I think I probably always will be. And in this situation, I like him.
So I was bored rigid by this. Seth Rollins, I don't find him compelling at all. When he was trying to be sinister, no, you're a clown. You are a clown who, in CM Punk's words, the same CM Punk who demonstrably did not want to be programmed with you at WrestleMania, denting my investment in all of this because I just sense that no one involved, apart from Seth, company guy, is really truly happy and locked in and just passion project with this. I'm not a Seth guy at all. I just thought he was droning on in that really unpleasant sounding voice of his. Him trying to be sinister. No, you're a clown. You can't have it always. You can't have it every single way that you want. You can't have it anyway, really, if you're me. Paul Heyman, if he wasn't a good revolutionary pro wrestling booker, would be one of the most reviled people in the entire business. I think he's not a good guy. I find his particular brand of performance incredibly objectionable. I find it cringeworthy. I think he thinks it's so much cleverer than it actually is. And it's that specific ick that I really won't do for me. It's like you think you're so much cleverer than you are. Like, oh, God, you've invented the concept of foreshadowing, mate, because you've dressed up like Solar Sokoa. Like, off. You thick twat.
He's a carny, isn't he?
Who thinks he's a total carny. And look, even if I don't like Paul Heyman, and I don't. I understand he's done some things. I understand why people think he's good. Like the method acting, staying up all night to look like for that Lesnar stuff that he was doing. I get it. I just don't like it. Even if you can stomach Paul Heyman and his foibles and that ick associated with him and that he's just like a lot of time a dumb person's idea of what clever wrestling looks like. I'm sorry, I'll say it.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Because you can see him thinking it as he prepares his performance.
Yeah.
You can imagine him.
Yeah. Even if I forget all that, it's really difficult. The fictional character was a guy who, for 4 years, masterminded Roman Reigns' big, long, Usos interference-filled storyline as like this heel mastermind character. He got chinned, and yes, in stupid pro wrestling logic, that means he's a babyface now. He got chinned. I think part of the problem with Paul Heyman, like being the fulcrum of this storyline, in addition to the compromise and the politics and everything else, is that in tandem with Roman Reigns, the babyface turn simply never really happened. This OTC stuff. He said yeet once on a taped SmackDown, big you know what I mean? It's like he hasn't really just bantered Solar Sokoa off the face of the earth and a phone didn't
saved Cody Rhodes and did a deal with him to do the right thing and all of that when he came back.
Dad forgot. You know, but you would think that sort of maxim of long ass, really successful heel run equals mega over babyface.
Yeah.
That really hasn't happened for Roman. It truly, genuinely hasn't. Maybe because he doesn't want it. So this idea that I'm meant to love, Paul Heyman, don't intimidate Paul Heyman. Oh, poor Paul Heyman's crying again because because his affections are split between Roman and Cody. I don't give a toss. I don't give a Paul Heyman's split sense of emotions and his fractured heart and his divided loyalties. Yeah. I couldn't possibly care less. So, the end.
Roman's a really interesting character to analyze at this point.
He didn't want to be the babyface. He didn't want to do anything, it seems like.
Yeah, he is. He's such a, he's got it. They always wanted top babyface Roman Reigns. They have it. He doesn't seem that arsed to beat.
Yeah.
It's so weird how it has happened. So I don't disagree with that element of it. But I think this is the ultimate case of all of your opinions will be shaped by how much you ultimately kind of feel any of this. You can't fake it. You're not going to watch this and tune in. Well, I don't like the story, but I can respect what they're doing. If anything, if you don't like the story, it's going to make you hate it more, isn't it? This is absolutely a tale of one of them. And I suppose I also think they're doing a really impressive job of making it hard to pick the winner. Me, with my sort of booking head on, I'm going with Seth Rollins all day. I think it makes the most use of the match, and
Who's he pin? Punk.
And that in itself becomes its own fascinating debate to have. But if Seth isn't winning, who are you picking out of Punk and Roman?
Because Punk at least wants it.
Well,
he didn't make his town last night. He always does that. But, didn't last night. So, whatever.
Doing some of the jerk off fella in the ring at the end. But if Punk wins, then he's had his WrestleMania main event. He's had his moment, all that sort of good stuff. But he's also potentially pinned Roman Reigns, if it is Roman Reigns that gets pinned here, and then you can't get that again. So I think it's got a nice all or nothing to it, this result, and that's what you need for a WrestleMania main event.
It's not all or nothing. It's unpredictable. It's not all or nothing. I mean, this match ultimately doesn't matter.
I feel like it matters.
Do you?
I push back on that. I disagree. They've honestly
what happens if Punk loses?
Where does the CM Punk go from that? He's finally got his WrestleMania main event.
Beats
He's finally got his WrestleMania main event, or everything he'd worked towards, and he's lost. They've got a far better and far more effective John Cena year-long slump story to get him back into next year. So he's yet again heading into a Rumble.
It's such a hollow idea in the first place, though. It doesn't feel like he's earned it. You know what I mean? So that impedes everything.
Yeah, Sidge, their foundations.
Yeah.
But I really I have come all the way around on it, because of what they've put together the last few weeks. I think but again, I think your point, I don't disagree with how you feel about this whole thing about, I'm watching it and I don't feel like they believe in it. Seth is the guy that should be this is great, it's worked out really well for me. I can completely see it through your eyes of Punk and Roman just know this is secondary stuff. Yeah. They know what the real stuff is, and they know they're not in the real stuff. But they have kind of got me on the fiction here.
That's fair enough. I think they've done an all right job of a decent version of compromise from the perspective of the characters, from Seth anyway. But we shouldn't be focused on Seth. Never focus on Seth. That's the first mistake.
What's your take with it at this point?
I really like it. I said on the SmackDown review that was the bit where I was like, that's why it deserves to be the main event of WrestleMania. I think it's fascinating, like you say, in terms of who wins and who gets pinned. I'm just really excited to be in attendance for it. I think that's probably part of it as well, as I've said, but buzzing.
I've got a problem. Another one.
With Sidgwick's got a problem. Sidgwick Diamond.
With the actual fiction of it, as opposed to I can just not see past the politics, the lack of belief in everyone's eyes, etc., etc. Shouldn't Seth Rollins have held Heyman to ransom here? Foot over the head. No, I'll do anything. Do me a favor? Yes, okay, got it. You know what I mean? It just felt like they just didn't, it's all a thick story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would look more dangerous. He was always going to get his favour out of it, wasn't he? Once he sort of held back.
Yeah, but if I'm Paul Heyman, I'm thinking, no, we didn't do anything. I just think you should have threatened him. as opposed to threaten him, don't, and then nah. I don't care about Paul Heyman. Deborah, that's what this is.
Well, let us know your thoughts on the main event and on this episode of Raw in the comments section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow all four of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
Follow our brilliant producer Adam Nicholas at
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. We'll be previewing NXT later on today. But for now, it's been the Raw review. My thanks to Hamflett Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.